Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
From bat tips to bat nips, we are just three cool boys revisiting Batman, the animated series, and wearing hats. This is Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast.
I see Batman and Beyond.
Greetings, Cool Boy Bat Nation, and welcome to another installment of Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast. I'm Felk.
I'm Ballard.
And I'm Steve.
So cool.
Tonight's episode is Beware the Gray Ghost. Directed by Boyd Kirkland. Story by Dennis O'Flaherty and Tom Ruger. Teleplay by Garen Wolfe and Tom Ruger. This episode originally aired November 4th, 1992, and features the villain, the Mad Bomber. Wikipedia says Simon Trent, an actor best known for his past role as the Gray Ghost, is on the verge of bankruptcy thanks to his declining career. To save himself, he sells off all his Gray Ghost merchandise. Immediately afterwards, a series of crimes related to the old show begin to occur. Batman, having himself been inspired partly by the show to become the crime fighter he now is, goes to Trent for help, and they team up to put an end to the crimes and also revive Trent's career. And there's a note here, the most obvious note possible. The Gray Ghost was voiced by Adam West, the star of the 1960s television show Batman, who was himself on the verge of bankruptcy in 1992 and selling off his old shit, probably.
I remember this episode as a kid and just really fondly. This was one of those episodes that I just thought was a really well done episode as a kid, and just how it was fun. I just remember thinking, having any sort of show that's kind of like an insider sort of show that throws in this sort of issue of the actor that's typecast, and this was a good one.
It's dark. I mean, when you were a kid, did you pick up on the notion that it's a reoccurring theme in the television industry that that old actors have to sell off their own shit and can't get like work and end up in like one bedroom apartments that they can't pay it for the rent in.
That's sad.
But it's true.
Remember, as a kid, I watched Star Trek, and definitely that was an issue that you knew that all these actors were typecast, and so that was something that I thought was fun to see in a Batman episode.
Well, see, for me growing up, I grew up in the 40s and the 50s. So, I mean, I was used to things like, Zorro, the Spirit, the Shadow. And then, when I was like 26, I saw, Batman 66. So for me, this was just like calling back to my childhood, like even more so.
Having Adam West voice.
Yeah, that was my Batman growing up. Yeah, that was the Batman I grew up with in the 60s when I was a little boy.
That's interesting.
I was just pointing out that you guys are talking about like Star Trek and stuff, and it's like all this old shit that was well before we were born.
The Star Trek guys actually, I didn't bring up Star Trek, that was Steve. And I don't think Star Trek's not really a great example because most of those people ended up like pretty successful.
Oh yeah, Leonard Nimoy was pretty typecast. He had a very difficult time afterwards.
He was typecast, but he was well off.
Well, that was the issue though, is that there was a point where Leonard Nimoy he was like, I am not Spock. Like there was an issue with that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad because he's only Spock.
Because he was typecast and he was trying to...
You're a little off here because then he wrote what was his follow-up book titled? I Am Spock.
Oh.
Yeah.
He had a real problem, and he definitely at a point was like, fine, I will take the role, but he tried to move past it. And most of the actors from Star Trek, the original series, tried to move past Star Trek, and they unfortunately, some of them didn't, but they were successful. I'm not seeing, but that is a common issue with these superhero shows. That was the issue with Adam West.
Yeah, Steve, is it Look Well? the pilot for Look Well, the Conan O'Brien produced show starring Adam West? Isn't that like a completely about this?
Yeah, I mean that's just this common theme. The typecast actor who's they can't escape his role, basically.
But it's like even this is almost a direct I don't know if this is a direct comment on it because I don't know when Look Well pilot was made. I think it was made well after this. But
well after.
How similar this plot line is to kind of even the Look Well.
I actually had
character.
read that the producers of Batman were nervous to have Adam West do the voice, that they were only going to do this episode unless Adam West did it.
Oh yeah,
and they were nervous about
sure.
having him do the role because it was, kind of, making fun of his real life, or not making fun of, but showing how he never got past being Batman from the 60s.
Showing the tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
But moving on, I did really like though how this showed how this created like the Batman mythos. Batman as a kid is in love with this superhero who's this vigilante that's saving the city, and he basically makes that what he wants to be. And I thought that was really cool.
Totally, absolutely. Just like the real character of Batman was inspired by things like Zorro and the Spirit and the Shadow, and that's kind of what this is calling to. That's absolutely true. Yeah, it's very meta, and it's very much an Ouroboros. It's it's a snake eating its own tail over and over again. It's very cool. Now this guy right here is the Collector. He eventually becomes the villain. He looks exactly like Bruce Timm to me.
He's actually voiced by Bruce Timm.
That's Bruce Timm's voice?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, a character.
Wait, Bruce Timm's acting in this? Because he has to do big old scenes later, like toys or whatever the fuck. It's he didn't sell it. There's a question. There's no question why this character didn't come back. Well, that's crazy. He looks like Bruce Timm. I remember thinking that right now, rewatching that in preparation for this, was like, that looks a lot like Bruce Timm. I like this episode. I like the simultaneous TV and real world plot lines playing out with each other throughout mostly the first and third act. I kind of like how they did that. I liked how Batman fell asleep watching the episode that is pertinent to a crime. So he actually needs the tapes to finish it. And back in this day, you couldn't just go on the internet and find the tape.
Yeah, that was funny. And he had to go and research. He had to go to find out the name of the actor. He couldn't just go on IMDb. He had to go and find the records of the old TV associations, to find.
Yeah, to find the episode, whatever it was called, the Mad Bomber.
He had to find the Mad Bomber, but first he had to find out the name, I think, of the Grey Ghost. He went to some records and
to find out that was Simon Trent was the person?
Yeah, the actor.
Wait, he just didn't know that from watching. I knew Adam West was Batman back when I was a little kid.
Well, he didn't.
I like the Mad Bomber because it reminds me of the Tick. And the Mad Bomber who bombs at midnight is like one of my favorite Tick villains and jokes on the show The Tick, the animated version of it that aired on Fox when we were kids.
That's funny.
But and obviously my age range right now is all over the map for this episode. If you don't know who I am or have listened to anything else, you have no fucking clue how old I am. Wait, didn't he just say he was young in the 40s and 50s and somehow the Tick was going on when he was a kid?
Yeah, I don't think anybody
cares.
Took that seriously.
Yeah, the cool boy, whoever curates the Cool Boys wiki is going to be like, I cannot peg down the age of the Ballard character.
Yeah, exactly. That's the plan, Sam.
He seems to be a little boy Ballard in almost every time frame.
He was, I was young enough to like, what was it, Eating Out? The gay movie Eating Out. It was like 2007. I was young enough to watch that as like a 5-year-old.
Dude, we should have just fucking done the Eating Out series instead of Batman. I'm sure. How many were there? There was like 17.
There's 4. I think there was 4.
Oh.
And they got progressively more gay.
But there's TV shows by the people of Eating Out. I'm going to look into this. We might be changing the format of the show.
Double check the name that the show was called Eating Out, or the movie was called Eating Out. Eating Out 2 or Electric Boogaloo or some shit.
There's more than 4. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, there's only 5. Yeah, Eating Out 2, Sloppy Seconds, Eating Out.
That's it.
All You Can Eat. That's the third one, but they dropped the 3 at that point. Eating Out.
Oh, there's no more numeration.
Yeah.
Just go straight to subtitle here.
Eating Out Into Darkness.
So they go...
Eating Out... No. We're still on Eating Out. Eating Out Drama Camp and Eating Out The Open Weekend.
Drama, camp, and open weekend almost sound like American Pie like spinoffs. At that
Interesting
point.
you say that because they both came out in 2011, and as you know, really great movies are always made in less than 1 year.
They are. They rushed them both. That's awesome. Oh, well, one of the things I wanted to point out here when Batman and Simon Trent hang out, they look at the episodes. I noticed that we are in episode 18 of production order, and the episode of the Mad Bomber is episode 18 of the Grey Ghost.
Very good eye.
I thought that was interesting. And they make a point because they show him going down the line and he's hitting up all the numbers with his finger. So when he finally lands on the Mad Bomber, before you can even see the title on the reel that says Mad Bomber, you see the number 18. So I just like in general, Batman's pissed off that he met Simon Trent. Simon Trent's a bitch. And he's just like, fucking never meet your heroes. You know, like,
what was he expecting?
Just never meet your heroes.
He was expecting to be the Grey Ghost.
I think that's what everyone expects when they see their hero. Isn't that right? They expect the hero to be the epitome.
That's sad. Even Batman, he's like, I thought you were the Grey Ghost. Not some down and out actor has to sell his memorabilia to survive. It's such a sad story.
All right. So
look how happy Bruce is.
I'd like to introduce the third podcast in the Cool Boys podcast world. Apparently, the Eating Out film series is created by As Ridicule Entertainment. And even though there's only 5 films in the gay-ish Eating Out series, there's over 100 movies from As Ridicule Entertainment that are in the Eating Out, like
endless amounts of entertainment. Up for
ourselves.
No,
I mean, I want to just hijack this episode and read them all to you.
This is a really good episode.
Did you not like this episode? I thought this was a really good one.
I love this episode, but I am absolutely fine. Read them all. Read all 100.
No. I'm just gonna give you. A couple here. Beautiful Vision, Beyond Love.
Should I just sign off?
No.
Birthday Cake.
I mean, I don't understand. You're just reading off porn titles.
No, they're not porn.
Bumblefuck. They're not porn. These are adult films. LBGT dramas. Bumblefuck USA. Bumblefucking's when you fuck someone on Bumble.
What the fuck is Bumble?
Bumble's a dating app, but it's gay friendly. Heterosexual Jill.
I totally thought Bumble was a drug. I totally thought Bumble was like some like drug. It's like it's Molly and E mixed into one, you know, something stupid like that.
There's actually a couple extra Eating Outs on here on their official list. I guess some are unreleased yet. There's more Eating Out to come. But in addition to the Eating Out series, there's also the Guys Next Door series, which has just numericals up to number 4. Guys Next Door number 4. There's Hollywood Bad Boys. That also has 4 in there. And Straight Men and the Men Who Loved Them has 3. It's a trilogy. So we're plenty. Oh, no, don't forget the Vampire Boys. Vampire Boys 2, Vampire Boys Brighter in Darkness, Vampire Boys Lucas Rising.
What?
We're watching all of these.
Lupus Rising? Oh,
there's also the West Hollywood Stories series, which has 2 parts. West Hollywood Stories 1 and 2.
No subtitles.
No. That just seems to be specific to the Eating Out series.
Any characters that are crossing over these series?
Dude, for all I know, these are all take place in the same As Ridicule Entertainment universe.
So this is a shared universe you stumbled upon that might be grander and greater than the Avengers Marvel shared universe and been going on longer. Wait, when did Eating Out start? 2007, right?
Eating Out was 2004. But
2004, so way before MCU.
There's numerous film series in here, and officially they're the category is there's some movies are dramas, some movies are comedies. These are called playful male nudity, gay light erotic drama comedies.
Wow,
yeah.
Dramedies.
No, well, that's with playful male nudity and gay light erotica.
What's playful male nudity?
Are we going to talk about the show at all? Like what's going on here?
I need to know what's playful male nudity. What does that mean? Is that butt?
We'll have to watch these movies and find out.
That's the only way to find out. Okay. Well, I enjoyed the cliffhanger act break we had between acts 2 and 3. I loved Bruce, by the way, just to recap, rewatching the Grey Ghost classics. He was so happy, just like us 3 cool boys, watching these Batman the Animated Series and going over Eating Out spinoffs. But I like right here how we continue the storyline with Batman and the Grey Ghost as they're going to start teaming up. And that's just what you wanted out of this episode, was the team up.
Yeah, and to answer Steve's question, no, I thought this was a pretty forgettable episode. It's a stunt. Like, oh, Adam West is in it. But other than that, it was like there wasn't really.
No, I thought it really showed like how it influenced Batman, how it made him who he is today.
Maybe it's because I don't like that. Like, I like the idea that Batman's the first guy to dress up like a fucking bat and be a superhero. Like, I kind of think that works in the Chris Nolan movies. Like how organic he arrives at like why he dresses up as a bat. And this is just like, well, I watched a TV show that was basically about Batman, and I added without the bats, and I added bats to it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right, Felk, with that. I mean, I disagree, but you're right because it's like he does go to Batcave with Grey Ghost Simon Trent, and Simon Trent's like, this is just like the Grey Ghost lair, and Batman's like, yeah, I modeled it exactly off that.
He's kind of like a fanboy. You know, I thought that was fun. You know, I thought that was interesting that to show. Well, Batman isn't the first one, and I don't think that there's criminals before him, and there's been heroes before him that have done things, and this was showing that there was like, that there was Hollywood made shows about superheroes and whatnot. And I just thought it was interesting that how it influenced him.
Yeah, I liked it too. I liked seeing the influence.
And I thought it was a good episode.
I thought it was a very adult episode too, but I enjoyed it more, I guess, because of the fact that it was about heroes and mentors and things like that. When It's Never Too Late, which was another really adult episode about Joey Jojo Shabadoo Jr. getting high on heroin or whatever, and then Stromwell ended up becoming no longer the gangster. Like, I didn't really care for that one so much, but I definitely cared for this one a lot more. I liked it because I feel like the kids in the basement with Batman is in my basement, like the way that they fantasized or the fantasy plays out for children of, you could take care of Batman. I liked this one because it was like, I'm watching Batman at home. I could become Batman maybe someday too. If only my parents were murdered and gunned down,
Only if I was orphaned. Every kid's dream.
Right.
I thought that, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good one. But it was also, I think part of it also was just having it be kind of insider, where it has the whole storyline about the actor's struggle. And they do that again later on with the whole thing with Clayface too.
Yeah, there was a lot of, it's weird that there was that theme of like being an actor is fucking hard is really.
So there's a lot of themes like that you feel like a lot of post-production and production and pre-production are making their way into the narratives. A lot like the last episode we watched, See No Evil, where I guess that if maybe Martin Pasco was going through a divorce while writing that episode, because it just seemed like a guy just hating on his wife like so hard the whole episode. So it's very possible that
divorce is tough. Divorce is tough. So it's very likely this episode that there was some of that. Like this is a little bit of an inside wink and joke and a nudge to, animators in general, or even show creators of children's TV maybe.
Well, definitely worth the ending being the toy collector who's like, everything costs too much money. It's pretty silly, the end result of the villain. But it was fun.
He's just screaming about his toys and how much he loves them too. He's like, toys, they're the best. They run everything. It's kind of true.
Yeah, he's a toy collecting man child. He's basically what the villain of the 2016 Ghostbusters was also. It's just like basically this horrible stereotype. He's
basically a villain that exists all over the internet today on so many different YouTube channels, right? I mean, like, how many YouTube channels are essentially this villain?
Oh man, you saw the Fison videos, right?
No.
I said I told you about this last time. Like there's a guy so there's like the hot toys, like you buy like Wonder Woman and stuff that are like really like
yes Fison, yes,
very accurate faces, and then you can buy anatomical
sexy versions,
bodies replacements for them. And I was like, somebody's like, this guy, do you? This guy is doing what he wants to do with his time and money.
Sexy Black Widow, sexy Wonder Woman, sexy Pepper Potts.
Other just we're talking about, new interesting thing about this episode is we're talking about some, movie series having numericals and some just having like subtitles or it's incorporated in the title. There's also apparently a trilogy from As Vertical Entertainment called the Hunk Trilogy with Hunk Boat, Hunk Hotel, and Hunk Hunter.
Ooh. Hunk Hunter.
Other great titles include Oh Happy Day and New Dudes. And one of my personal favorites here, Are You Invited? 5 Guys in a Sex Party.
Wait, that's the title? Are You Invited? 5 Guys in a Sex Party?
RU is the letters R and U. So I'm guessing it's like a text that gets sent in the movie at some point.
Oh, are you invited?
Yeah.
No! And then that person spends the entire time hunk hunting.
I also like stuck with an exclamation mark. Stuck. Where'd he get stuck?
In the Gray Ghost episode, we had another electrical fire.
They like those. Was it electrical? Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah, it was electrical. Yeah, it was the computer being damaged and catching on fire.
And lots of very explosive cars.
Yeah, each act had a massive explosion. So there were 3 massive explosions for the entire episode. And then, did Bruce give away his secret to Simon Trent at the end?
Well, he kind of gave him a wink. Yeah, definitely. He told him that as Batman and said the same line as Bruce. I think I felt like he definitely.
He's not good with his secret identity in this block of episodes.
No, he is not.
He also gets captured a lot, where you would think that anybody that captures him would take a peek.
Yeah, enough times. People are very respectful of the cowl.
I feel like it. They're like, there's a reason why.
Hey, don't touch that. Don't touch that cowl. We don't care to know.
Respect it.
I wanted to point out right now, I'm just looking this up right now on like some DC wiki. So Ted Dwyer, who's the name of the toy collector's character, he was, definitely designed by Bruce Timm and voiced by Bruce Timm. But the video vault clerk that Bruce goes to earlier in the episode is absolutely based on
Paul
the animation
Dini?
is based on Paul Dini, and apparently Paul Dini saw this episode and an episode of Tiny Toons that he was on, and he decided he needed to lose weight because they drew him so fat that he was absolutely like ashamed. They fat shamed him with animations, and he actually was like, I gotta lose weight, I'm way too fat, but that's how they're drawing me. That's crazy.
You'd think a kid's show would be more, sympathetic to fat people.
Not this one, Boss Biggest.
That's true.
They were making fun of Paul Dini right and left, probably behind closed doors, like, Dini, you fat fuck.
How many cool boys are you gonna rate this one?
Oh, I give this one 5 out of 5 boys. I loved it. It worked with me, unlike the way the as I mentioned earlier, that other one, It's Never Too Late, didn't work for me. This one worked for me.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 for me too.
Oh, I give it only 2 out of 5. I thought it was kind of a stunt casting, and there wasn't too much to it.
That's fair.
I prefer a more straightforward Batman does Batman shit episode. Great bat stuff, gentlemen. Cool Boy Nation, tune in next week. Same Cool Bat time, same Cool Bat channel. Cool Bat Nation, be sure to let us bat know what you bat thought of Beware the Gray Ghost, or what your favorite Bat episode is by bat emailing us at batmanandbeyondcoolboys@gmail.com. New episodes of Batman and Beyond come out every Thursday. Also, please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with The Cool Boys Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Patreon, where the Cool Boys have an uncensored discussion about 5 so cool movies, everything ranging from bods to dongs and all the boners they have given us. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Cool Boys Podcast and Facebook group us at The Cool Boys Podcast. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube by searching for The Cool Boys Podcast. And be sure to rate and review us on iTunes at The Cool Boys Podcast. And if you like, you can donate to us on Patreon and receive additional episodes of Cool Boys After Dark and a Cool Boy shout out on The Cool Boys Podcast that airs every Tuesday. You can find The Cool Boys on Patreon at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Until next time, it's Byzies from Felk.
That's Byzies from Ballard.
And Byzies from Steven.
So cool.
Batman
and beyond. Oh yeah. Batman
and beyond.
Oh, yeah.